Hello, I'm the reviewer. You review it, I review you. And this is my partner, Mr. It.
Meep.
Some of you may remember that last time I found a little spell book on my bookshelf, and the spells in it actually did work. So, in light of this, I figured that this time we should take a look at a reviewer who's had some experience with magic. Linkara. So sit back, relax, as we take a look at Atop 4th Wall, Marville number 1. Linkara?
Okay. 2012 is not off to a good start.
Really? Because it looks to me like you had one rockin' New Year's Eve party.
This is Marville, and it is one of the worst comics ever made.
And since this is our first review of Atop the 4th Wall, I think it's only fitting that we take a look at the theme song.
The theme song is really catchy, and it's a lot of fun to listen to. However, if there's one problem I have to have with the song, it would probably be the lyrics. Me, 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 me.
Well, it's not like the lyrics are bad or anything. It's just, they're entirely comprised of in-jokes from the show.
I mean, it's like if Doctor Who's theme song had lyrics to it, and among those lyrics were bow ties are cool, hello sweetie, and Rory the Roman.
I can just tell that all of you who have never seen Doctor Who are giving me weird looks.
For the sake of this review, I'm going to skip the backstory of the comic. The gist of it is, 3 Marvel executives had a bet going on to see whose book would sell more. If you want to find out more, watch the actual review.
We opened in the year 5002 AD at the opening of some guy's comic book store. Congratulations, your new store is huge! After 3,000 years, the comic industry finally recovered from Ron Perlman bankrupting Marvel. Who?
Don't look at us, we're comic noobs, what do we know?
Anyway, meteors begin crashing down into the city and destroys the guy's comic shop. Though strangely, the two in front of the shop are just standing there, despite the fact that an explosion like that should send them flying.
I walk away in movies without flinching when it explodes behind them. There's no way! I call bullshit on that!
Ted Turner says that a meteor shower is starting in 5 minutes, and a giant one will strike AOL on. Yes, they explain later that Earth was bought by Ted Turner, who then sold it to AOL, who renamed it AOL-on.
Oh please, we all know what company is really gonna own the Earth in 3,000 years. Disney!
ESPN, Marvel, and Lucasfilms are only the beginning, my friends.
Ted Turner says it's the end of the world. Unless... Unless what?
Captain Planet! Captain Planet!
You know, considering the humor level of this comic, that wouldn't surprise me.
No, actually, Ted Turner suggests the much more rational plan of putting on baseball caps, walking out, yelling, "Wow!" and karate chopping a meteor. And it works!
Hey, meteor chopping is an important lesson in karate. It's like breaking boards.
But Sensei, I don't think I'm ready for this.
Me, 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 me.
Alright.
By the way, did I mention that there's a crowd outside Ted Turner's house? Because, you know, when meteors start crashing into the planet, the first thing you should do is go to immortal Ted Turner's house.
Why do I get the feeling that on December 21st, Justin Bieber fangirls are going to be flocking at his house?
Jane Fonda points out that their child will die so young, and I wonder if this isn't supposed to be like their descendants, you know, like Ted Turner the 29th or something. I only say that because this Ted Turner has a decent mustache, whereas the real Ted Turner can barely get a mustache to form over his upper lip. Anyway, Ted's master plan is to use a rocket ship to send their son to Earth. Ted, honey, that's a harebrained scheme. That's what they all said about the TBS and CNN and TNT. And the Goodwill games. Jane Fonda points out that they are on Earth, thus his entire plan is stupid. Then a meteor hits and destroys the craft, and they carry on their conversation during this as if nothing is happening. Ted Turner gets the idea to instead send their son back in time. This is serious, and seriously, there is no such thing as time travel. Jane Fonda doesn't believe that he has a time machine and asks how it works. I utilized dilithium crystals to alter the space-time continuum. These are just parts of an old PlayStation 1 and a couple of Atari controllers. That joke...
Hey, don't make fun of video game components. I used my old PSP to make a frickin' power gauntlet.
That joke could have been funny if you forgot that this takes place in the year 5002. I guess there'll be a big PlayStation 1 nostalgia trip in 3,000 years.
So the idea that he's an antique collector really isn't an option, is it?
Cal-AOL, Mommy and Daddy have something important to tell our special boy. Ease up on the baby talk, Pop. I'm like 18. I guess by the year 5000, those damn young people will be really detached from the real world, since Cal-AOL doesn't seem at all affected by the meteors crashing into his house.
Apparently, we're already that detached from reality. Last time it got the crap beaten out of him, and I didn't even notice.
Me.
Oh, come on, what did you expect me to do?
Ted Turner tells him that he must travel back in time and that our tragic deaths will give you a heightened sense of responsibility. One, how will your deaths give him a sense of responsibility? Connect the dots for me. Two, Uncle Ben's death just taught Spider-Man that with great power comes great responsibility. This kid doesn't have any power. He's just some asshole 18-year-old who doesn't care that his dad has been building time machines and spaceships out of his retro gaming collection. Three, this is really dumb. Well, if you're sending me away, at least give me one of those green crystals with all the knowledge of the universe. For the last time, you're not getting your Christmas present early.
I want it now!
So instead, Ted Turner hands him an AOL trial CD. Oh, wait, this is the future. AOL trial Blu-ray? Now, wait a damn minute. Doesn't AOL own the planet? Why would there be trial CDs when they'd probably just make everyone use AOL?
But that's the brilliance of it. The trick to a good dictatorship is making people think they have a choice.
Ted Turner tells him he needs a special suit in order to get into his TARDIS that says Marvel across it. Sure, but what's Marvel? You see, son, Dad's comic company, DCC, sucked. They couldn't make a decent book. JSA the Titans, Starman, JSA Batman, Young Justice. But hey, even if this mean-spirited jabbing at DC was accurate, they still didn't make Marville, now did they? More to that quote-unquote joke, but let's just skip it considering how much we still need to cover with this. So the kid travels back in time. This is like a story told by the cybernetic ghost of Christmas past from the future.
And then in the year 5002, Ted Turner and Jane Fonda sent their infant son of 18 years back to the present in a time machine made of PlayStation 1 parts.
You've been drinking again, haven't you?
Shut up! You're not the boss of me!
I don't think I've ever been this level of confused.
Me.
Cal-AOL is sent back. Jane Fonda wonders if they should travel back in time too. But Ted Turner says it'd be risky. It's not risky enough for your son, but sending yourselves back? Oh, hell no, too risky. Immediately upon arriving in the past, Cal-AOL is met by several comic fans who see that his outfit says Marvel Enterprises, the second word is on his belt, and they ask if he knows Joe Quesada. What, you own a shirt that says Marvel on it and immediately people think you're best buds with Marvel staff? This is my Secret Wars t-shirt. I wear it because I'm best friends with Dan Slott and Brian Michael Bendis.
Yeah, and Mr. It wears his Spider-Man t-shirt because he's best buds with Stan Lee.
Me.
Wait, you are?
Cal-AOL decides to see if he has any superpowers because he's now in the past. Wait, what? Dude, you're a time traveler. That does not give you superpowers. Naturally, this fails, but then his dog that we saw earlier, AOL Stro, has been sent back in time by his parents. So the current count is your children and pets, A-OK to risk sending into the past. Yourselves? What, are you crazy or something? This sucks. I didn't go to a place with lighter gravity, so I'm not super strong. No X-ray vision. I come all the way from the future, and all I have to show for it is this stupid shirt. You know, I've said it before, but I've never quite meant it as literally as I do now. The future is dumb.
I thought the future was what you make of it. Oh yeah, that's a good point. At the rate we're going, that's pretty much the same thing.
A new example of how moronic our protagonist is. Oh yeah, did I mention that? Cal AOL is the main character. He walks into the middle of the street and is almost run over by a taxi. When the taxi slams its brakes, he picks up his dog and runs onto the sidewalk. Because of the fact that the taxi stopped before hitting him, he thinks he has the power to stop time. The taxi driver, a woman named Mickey, points out how stupid that is, but he wants to take a taxi ride over to Penn Station so he can go see the president. We are only now passing the halfway point in this comic, people. He tells her he's from the future, and they first travel to the bank so he can pay the taxi fare, but shock of all shocks, the ATM eats his card because it doesn't recognize the card from 3,000 years in the future. It tells him to go talk to the bank manager, who turns out to be Alan friggin' Greenspan. Again, 2002. Why is the chairman of the Federal Reserve working as a bank manager?
This is weird.
Alan Greenspan explains that the account is valid, but it won't be opened for another 3,000 years. How the hell does he know that? I would just assume that he was some guy trying to use a fake card, not that he's actually from the future and the son of Ted Turner and Jane Fonda 3,000 years from now. And why is nobody questioning how they're still alive in the future? Alan Greenspan then pulls out a literal sack of money with Cal AOL's name on it and says he can't have it for 3,000 years. What the hell is this? Can I talk to the bank president? I don't report to him or anybody else. Somebody hired you, somebody can fire you. My name is Alan Greenspan. I don't work that way.
Alan Greenspan doesn't work that way!
Wow, that's a new one.
Yeah, we'll be getting to him eventually.